The Portland City Council is set to vote tonight on a new budget, one that, while it means a slight reduction in the property tax rate, also calls for cutting the equivalent of 65 positions.
Portland isn't alone. The city manager of Augusta is calling on the federal government to quickly support a second COVID relief package. He says the future of Augusta and every other city and town in Maine and in the U.S. depends on it. As News Center Maine's Shannon Moss reports, Maine is expected to face a $500 million shortfall in 2021.
The pandemic has hit Maine's towns and cities hard.
It's meant layoffs, real retrenchment in services.
Augusta City Manager Bill BRIDGEO says in order to not raise property taxes, the city was forced to cut 32 city jobs.
Those were positions in the police department, in the public works department, one of our 3 code enforcement officers.
And the list goes on.
If we aren't able to get some help in the coming year, then I think that's just going to be worse.
The city of Augusta relies on state aid for 37% of its $65 million annual budget.
I can't conceive of how the state gets through the problems that they're going to face without having to cut back on those categorical forms of aid.
In a meeting with the media, Governor Janet Mills expressed that same concern.
No state wants to choose between public safety and health care, education and child protection, but that's what we're going to be forced to do along with every other state in the country.
Senator Angus King, who spoke on the Senate floor about this exact issue last week, says it's time for Congress to act on a second coronavirus relief bill now.
All over the country, first responders, police, public health workers, teachers, those are the people that are being impacted by this, and those are the people whose lives are going to be turned upside down.
I can't think of another time in over 4 decades where there's been such resistance on the part of the federal government to aid to states and counties and municipalities in times of true crisis.
A crisis, Bill BRIDGEO says, that could affect the future of Augusta and every other city and town in Maine. Shannon Moss, News Center, Maine.